Good evening. This is my brother is still here with me today, so we are going to continue our series of podcasts. Most of you who watched that video on the 48 laws of power liked it. The biggest complaint was audio. Yes, there was a problem in the mic, and we have fixed it. And we tried to make this a better quality video audio, and we'll also put out the audio as a podcast separately. The idea was originally to make it a podcast. We recorded me on the video so that we could test it out with in this channel at Be Rich. So we continue with that. I also take your feedback that you would like me to discuss all the 48 laws. That's not possible this week. We will definitely accommodate all the 48 laws of Robert Greene one by one and then discuss it with current scenario. It's an interesting project, but that cannot be done as my brother will leave for his Christmas vacation this week. So we had a different topic. This is on money. This is an old book, American book, which came nearly 100 years ago. This book is called The Richest Man in Babylon. The questions he is going to ask me are based on that book. You could look at my interpretation. My interpretation and the interpretation in the book would slightly differ. I have not read that book in a decade. And the main thing is, this is my version of the answers. His version of the answers will be 100 years old. You can always go back and compare the notes. You would find it very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, so today's book, as you said, Anand, we're going to talk about The Richest Man in Babylon, which was written in 1926.
Yeah.
And it's basically a story about a guy who passes on the knowledge on how to create wealth and also to preserve wealth. So in essence, he breaks it down to called the 7 cures. That is how to generate money and wealth. So he basically talks about the advice is broken into 2 parts. One is called the 7 cures. That is how to generate money and wealth. Then the 5 laws of gold, which is how to protect and invest your wealth. So broadly speaking, instead of getting into the story, I want to talk about his ideas on investing and generating money. So the first cure, he says you should talk about savings. So what is your idea on that? He says...
So he calls it fattening the purse, if I remember right.
Correct.
So it is better that you tell the cure's name.
Cure. Okay, the first cure is called start thy purse to fattening.
Yeah. So basically he is saying fatten the purses because in those days, and this book was written about, like you said, 100 years ago, they used to get a small lamb and fatten the lamb and then cut it. So that's why he's saying fatten the purse. So basically how to get more money into your system. And remember, in those days, when you read the book, currency was pegged to gold. So the central bank could not print money the way it was. So when you listen to my answer and you go back and read the book, you find a difference. It is basically because the currency system has changed completely.
So are these rules relevant then?
The rules are of course relevant and universal. There will be some tweaks to it, but then it's different. Because in those days, you could leave it in the purse and the value will be protected. But if you leave in the purse today, if you leave 100 rupees in the purse, in those days, it would still be 100 rupees after 1 year. But if you leave 100 rupees in the purse today, you would have lost value.
Yeah, but it's a good principle. If someone has zero idea of generating money or saving, creating wealth, it's a good principle to start with. Meaning, it's the most basic thing to start is everyone tells us as when we were children to open a savings bank account
So exactly.
and put some money in.
So what I'm trying to say is, if you forget and leave 100 rupees in the purse, last year it would have bought you 1.5 liters of petrol. This year it will buy you 1 liter of petrol. Last year it would have bought you 3 kgs of tomato. You won't even get 1 kg of tomato today.
Correct.
So I have to tell this upfront.
True.
Now, having said all this, what he is saying is, most of us, and this I have seen right through people whom I consult, very few people make a deliberate effort to leave money for the future.
True.
They don't want to sacrifice immediate gratification for future gratification. The way we think is that we are going to work forever. In my father's time, though my father did not do it, my uncle was like that. He worked right through for one group and retired in that group.
You're talking about Peripa.
Yeah. But like my father took risks and moved to 3-4 companies. But all my father's friends were in Tata Steel all the way through.
True.
So people could join a company, retire in a company, build a house and retire comfortably. That is not possible today. People have to switch jobs and the working time has also come down. Like my father would have worked till 60, though he didn't choose to work till 60. My uncle worked till he was 75. And most of my father's friends in Tata Steel worked till they were 70. But here, today what is happening is, by the time you are 53, 54, you are obsolete. I am 54, I will be obsolete if I am working for somebody. So obsolescence is a big thing today. So You have a limited shelf space and you have to save a portion of your money. First save, then we will see about investing.
But don't you think we should start at a much younger age?
No, it has to be a way.
Inculcating this habit of saving instead of waiting till you start earning, getting your job. Don't you think, like that other day we were discussing, that it's good to start? You told me start educating my son at a younger age.
But your son is not an ordinary person. So he already has Shashwat to follow on the route.
Absolutely right.
Right.
I'm talking in general.
In general, it is wise for children to teach their children how to manage money. But in that is a case where I'm lecturing on parenthood. I don't want to do that. But when they become independent and have their own access to money, they should put away 30% of it for a rainy day.
True.
So he talks about a lesser percentage.
He talks about 10%
Yeah, I
of
talk
your
about.
annual income to start building.
Yeah, I'm saying 30%.
Yeah, because of inflation.
That is because of inflation. So you should keep away 30% of your annual income for your future. That is what he is talking about in fattening the purse.
Okay. In the second cure, he says, control thy expenditures.
Yeah, this is, most of us don't. So people close to us, we know, both of us.
True.
How much ever we talk to them, more than a food diet, they need to go on a cash diet. Lot of our friends. So they don't go on a cash diet. So what he is trying to say and what I am trying to say is savings has to be your first expense. So you take out 30% from your salary and put it away, and the balance 70 is what you have to spend. If you make that basic rule to say I can only spend 70% of my salary on whatever I want and 30% is not available, you have rule number 2.
True. But all of us have a consumer driven mind. We all like to buy the latest things.
That's Marshmallow
So
Test.
how do I get over that?
It's like leaving the ball outside the off stump, or it is also like that famous Marshmallow Test.
How do you personally cope with that? This feeling of being left out, where you think you don't have the latest phone or they don't have the latest. You seem to be very good at it. There's no desire for you. So what do normal people like us do?
I don't know. I don't think I ever thought about it. But for me, even from childhood, I was always intent on collecting things. And so collecting coins was a major hobby for me, you know that. Till I all gave it away to my nephew one fine day. I used to collect 1 paisa, 2 paisa, 5 paisa, 10 paisa. And I had great joy in counting that money.
True.
And so I could naturally allow money to accumulate in various places. And I had very limited requirements. And very limited requirements. And never picked up any expensive habit also. So I didn't have to struggle. But today's people are struggling because there is so much information overload today. In my time, there was no so much information overload. So you had to go to a shop and then look at it and then worry about it. But we were all the time playing in with my grandparents and all our friends. Where did we have the time to go to shops?
True. The third cure he's talking about is make thy gold multiply. He says, learn to make your treasure work for you. Make it your slave. Make its children and its children's children work for you. What does that mean?
It's very simple. The money you have in your bank account is also eroding all the time. So the money you have in the bank has to be deployed in such a way that it earns money. And even the money that it earns, that is the children of the money that is worked, also should work for you. So this is why Buffett says, somebody whose money is working for him all the time, even when I'm sleeping, my money is working for me. Then I don't have to worry about a salary, income or retirement of anything. So most of us think putting it in a savings bank account is bad.
Correct.
And so they think fixed deposit is a great investment. Most of the elders I knew.
Even gold.
There are two different categories. I'll come to that. In case of fixed deposits, you are losing money.
True.
Okay. And there's a TDS which hurts it even more.
True.
So a fixed deposit is a strict no. You lose money.
Mainly because of inflation.
Mainly because of inflation. And secondly, because of that usurious tax deducted at source.
Yeah, but in all fairness, our grandparents, at that time India was a different country. There was not many options.
No. Those days I'll tell you why I said gold. Gold got free in India only in 1991. So till then most of India was black market in gold. So basically, and now again this government has made smuggling of gold very possible because it has put a 15% tax on it. So there's a 15% tax on gold. And so it is very difficult to buy gold in India. I don't buy much gold in India.
Okay.
Why do I say gold is? Because gold is the only thing you can immediately pledge and take for cash. This is, otherwise gold has no use and is a very poor investment.
Correct.
But gold you can immediately take and give. If I have an emergency money is always kept in gold.
True.
That's the last reserve.
True.
So that is the only use for gold.
Historically, it's always been like that,
Yeah.
especially in India.
Yes. So that's why you buy gold. You stay away from fixed deposits. You move to cheap stocks and you buy bonds. That's where you keep the money.
That's how you make your.
That's what I do.
That's what you advise us to do. So you still are very much against crypto then.
No. I'm very much against crypto. You know that.
Okay. The fourth cure he talks about, guard thy treasures from loss. He says, be not misled by thy own romantic desires to make wealth rapidly. Seems to be very profound advice for crypto, man.
Yes. So what he says is don't speculate, don't trade. You will get into serious trouble.
So you should not look at the returns in terms of just percentage. So you must also look at it in terms of security.
Yes. And Buffett talks about very eloquently. He says rule number 1, don't lose capital. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. This is what he says. So you will lose capital if you don't make your investments carefully.
Okay.
If you chase a hot stock which a broker refers, you will lose money.
So if you don't have any knowledge of anything, you should not invest in it.
No, if you don't know about stocks, you stick to index funds. That's the best thing to do.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds like a good advice. The fifth cure, make thy dwelling a profitable investment. He advises buying versus renting your principal residence.
Okay. This used to be very true till about 10 years back in India. When instead of rent, I could have bought a house. When I bought a house in your name, which we traded
Correct.
in
East Abhirampuram.
East Abhirampuram, the rent used to pay for the EMI and we used to have money left over.
Correct. True.
Right? But today, if I go to the same flat, you sold it at the peak.
Correct.
You made 10x or 20x. I don't know how much we made.
Some X we made.
Some X.
Yes.
The price has come down to 0.75 of that.
True.
From the price we sold it together, price has come to 0.75.
Corrected downwards, yes.
It's corrected downward. And even today, the rent is only twice what we used to collect.
True.
So the rent cannot pay for the flat.
True. Very true.
So that means the flat has to correct to quite a bit.
This law has changed then.
This law has changed in India because the rents have remained same. The prices of assets have gone up. This has primarily gone up because of that income tax adjustment that has come in 2004.
Okay. The sixth cure, ensure a future income. What does that mean?
Yeah. Future income is putting money in bonds, which you will get regular streams of income. You also put in some of your money into stocks like ITC, whose dividend income you can eat on forever.
Okay. And the seventh cure, increase thy ability to earn. What you've been always telling us about, increasing your wisdom, increasing your earning power, increase your skill sets.
Yes. And also you put in your secondary hustle or side hustle, as I say. You should have one stream, more than one stream of income. In fact, ideally, you should have 5-6 streams of income to flow in, so that even if one tap turns, the other tap opens.
Correct. Okay, this covers the 7 cures for a lean purse.
It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification. नमस्कार, मेरा नाम आनंद श्रीनिवासन है और मैं एक पर्सनल फाइनेंस कंसल्टेंट हूँ। मैं 2 YouTube चैनल चलाता हूँ पर्सनल फाइनेंस के बारे में। एक मनी पेज तमिल में है। मेरे बहुत से दोस्त बोले कि मैं हिंदी में एक चैनल शुरू करूं, तो मैंने एक पैसा बोलता है नाम का एक हिंदी चैनल शुरू किया है। मैं पर्सनल निवेश के बारे में ही बात करूंगा। आप उसको सब्सक्राइब करें, अपने दोस्तों को शेयर करें। अगर आप हिंदी नहीं जानते हैं तो पैसा करें। जो आपके दोस्त हिंदी जानते हैं उनको सब्सक्राइब करने के लिए आग्रह करें। धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।